Well, so we have, again, that 228th has the lower spawn, so they're going to be sitting back fairly evenly away from the ridge, and they're going to be moving. Sorry, our opposite teams, Bison Colors. So Death Meta Band near the ridge side.
So just for the stream, Death Meta Band is here in red. 228th is blue at the upper spawn. So in case we stop dropping the wrong names, blue, 228th, red, Death Meta Band.
Quickly, you see the Jenners from 228th doing a little bit of scouting, looking around, trying to figure out where they're at. Death Meta Band has moved up over towards the right side, towards really set up in the buildings.
That's a fairly safe position. 228th is also playing it safe, though, staying pretty far back near their original camp. Neither of them wants to put themselves out in a position where they could get hit by a push before they're ready, and they're going to take a bit of time just to feel out their opponent. I'd like to see if 228 throws a light just down onto Theta and puts a little bit of psychological pressure. I say psychological because in terms of actual pressure and effect on the game, it's not going to be much, but it could still get inside the enemy's head.
So with this more passive game theory, what do you think about the opportunities for an Arty Strike to, like early Arty Strike to really turn the game?
If you get yourself too clumped, they are really going to start stacking up. Especially in these light drop weights. You don't have a lot of armor to go around, and artillery does not discriminate. However, we haven't seen any crippling hits yet, both sides staying around pretty much full health. They are aware of the Arty threat, messages in chat exchange saying make sure you're safe. We actually see a Jenner D. Astinius' Jenner D takes some leg damage when he's peeking for scouts. However,
huge
his
airstrike
goes
takes
out.
down Tricepticon.
Tricepticon, aka Atkinson, got murdered by that strike. And so that's one Jenner F down for 228.
That was really unfortunate. He was just going across, and that airstrike just happened across him. But you see Grand Menace is in a 3D with 2 PVCs, 2 AC5s. That's a bit slower of a 3D to keep up in the fight, and while it's normally hot on this map, it'll run at a fairly efficient.
Man, I thought for sure they were going to bring brawlers for those 3Ds, but they want to be playing a long-range game. However, they haven't been able to move those up to a position where they can actually poke. They need to get those into, say, pocket and start working angles if they're going to get work out of them. One thing to note is, I think those 3Ds might be XL, like snipers, instead of the standard engine. Just judging by the speed they're going.
Death Meta Band has actually gone after Theta now. I wonder if that early kill they're thinking with lights, oh, okay, we got a light advantage, let's just go and get some cap points so that we can force them to come on us, because they're both sitting back, so maybe they really seem to want 2-8 to bring the engagement to them. And by having a third cap, that'll actually, the points will get fairly high over time, and that could force 2-8 to have to make the move.
Well, I mean, on the whole of it, our criticism is go for that cap. Normally you'd be putting yourself down a man, but they've already got that kill, they're fine. However, we see Versnick's Jenner jumping around, seeing if he can get eyes on Theta, get a strikeout. Astinius seems to see it coming, bugs out. Did he manage to take the cap over?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. No, the cap has not been taken over just yet. It's completely neutral. So it's just the 2 caps each.
I feel like it wouldn't be a bad move for them to continue trying to just take Theta, even if it's just running on for like 3-5 seconds at a time, then running off to dodge strikes. But if they manage to get that, oh! Forget that. Death Meta Band is pushing up into the lower city. And if they work these angles right, the angles here right, they could actually get some pretty good isolation on the right side of 228th. However, it's going to be really important for them not to stall out.
Yeah, they don't want to stall out, because if one of those lights sees them moving through that gap, slowing down, a single Arty Strike, like we were talking earlier, can do a lot of damage.
They're doing a good job keeping the K2s in the back and relatively fresh. It's the Shadowhawks who are soaking up all of the snipe potential coming from the enemy. 228 has moved to dropship and is potentially pushing over just to get themselves safe and out of the way of this push. However, Pisces Zero and the Shadowhawk is completely caught out and getting murdered and down. However, the rest of 228 has rotated around with a low side dropship. They're getting some picks with their snipers to the back of the formation on Great Wolf's K2, down 78%. Carpentier in the other K2, about 85%. So good hits going in. And Death Metal Band's going to need to find an angle to actually turn this into a brawl if they're going to get those K2s working. Meg, what do you see?
I just want to see what the health of these K2s are, but Carpentier is still pretty fresh. I'm not sure about the other one. He was down to 60-some%. But in this type of fight, they've kind of switched sides now. Those K2s are in a pretty good position at the right range that the other team have to go through their lines to hit them.
Just
but
judging
they're
by
still clumped up
percentages
now,
here,
airstrike vulnerability.
Death Metal Band, in my opinion, really needs to turn around and just push into this. They're getting harassed pretty hard. They're losing the trade damage-wise.
Yeah, with the 3Ds,
but even though they're up on max.
They know that 228 has the 3Ds, those ranged mechs, so their advantage is to be pushing in. And see, they're sitting back here. They're actually going for some, they're almost sitting on the cap now to have probably some cap pressure, but there's that K2. Great Wolf is down to 41%. And you see Degata, Shadowhawk down 52%, and another Shadowhawk getting picked apart. So I think right now they got to say, hey, let's take the fight to them. Can't be sitting here, we're just getting picked apart.
Yeah, when you have an advantage, you need to press it home. You can't be passive and let it slipping away, and that might be what they're doing here.
Still no kills for 228. Well, big arty strike goes down right in the middle there. Damage to the K2 and Hunchback. Now they're bringing the fight.
But is it too late?
Just depends on how damaged the other teams right now, and they are damaged. Queen Blade 58% and a Jenner, 64% with Ragnar and a Shadowhawk. Okay, it's 2-1 now.
The push from Death Metal Band does look a little split. They had guys going in right and left, and 228 decided to push hard on the guys on the left. So there was a bit of an overmatch for a moment, but now it looks like everybody is getting into a brawl proper, and it is 3-4 in favor of 228, though all that early damage is stacking up, and that overmatch. 6 mechs down for Death Metal Band. This is looking really bad for them.
Yeah, it looks like they had a lot of damage on them. They're getting hurt. I see a shutdown 4P. That's not a good situation for them if they're running that hot right now and they're down kills. So it looks like 7 mechs left alive for 228 right now, and only 3 mechs left up for Death Metal Band.
And 228 still has 4 Jenners up. The caps are only 550 to 450, and enough time to run this out, especially with the Jenners on the field. And those 4 Jenners can just hunt down and murder anything left, which they do.
Yep, swept it up at the end there, finished off the hurt mechs. And 228 takes it, and they will be moving on.